Hey gang, let's get moving together. Today you'll need a yoga block and a 5-inch playground ball. If you don't have those close by, believe it or not, you can actually grab a roll of toilet paper. Maybe you're in a hotel room somewhere, and a few books. The idea is we want to unlevel ourselves and get ourselves up off the floor a little bit, and we're going to use this as a spacer. So grab those tools and we're going to get going. So the yoga block or the books are going to start on the ground, and you want to have it so that your feet are aligned on the outer edges and everything is parallel. You can use the ball or the toilet paper roll between your inner thighs, and it's going to give us 2 touch points for feedback to keep ourselves aligned and engaged. Let's start with some squats today. So we're going to exhale as we lower down, and make sure we're not smashing in on the yoga block or on the ball. So it's just barely being held in place to exhale as we crease at the hips, sinking down and back. Inhaling as you lift, opening the front side of the hip crease and lifting under your seat. As we lower down, it's an exhale, drawing everything close to center, and an inhale, adding lots of length and space. Just a few more here as we get our body moving, opening up space, engaging the core and connecting everything to center. If you're looking for more challenge through the arms, you can take the arms out to the side as we exhale and lower down. Inhale as we bring it up. As we get moving and get started, I like to remember that we have one long arm. So rather than thinking about the right and the left moving independently, can you connect them in your mind's eye and in your own skin in between the shoulder blades? So find those arms connected in between the shoulder blades, sprouting out side to side from the same initiation point. All right, let's hold the next one low in your squat, low for you. Pause. Stretch the arms even further out the sides of the room. Double check that your head is in line with your spine and your ribs are in line with your pelvis. And we're going to invite the thigh bones even deeper into the hip sockets, and that's going to send you a little lower into your squat. Keep holding. And as we hold here, use that yoga block to give you feedback. Do you have weight on the inner and outer foot? You should feel the yoga block in between your ankle bones. And what I like to use it for is also just a little bit of a stability point as I make sure I'm sharing the weight from the forefoot, the front, to the rear foot, the back. Maybe you invite your thigh bones in a little bit more deeply, getting lower into that squat, stretching arms, stretching tailbone from crown of head, holding and breathing for 5. Make sure you're not squishing it on that ball for 4. If you're gripping on the front side of your ankles, share more weight with your heels. Last 2, can you get a little bit lower? And inhale with intention, sitting bones broaden, narrow, and come all the way up. All right, we are now going to stand onto the yoga block. If you need a balance support, you can use a chair or a wall or something close by. But we are going to take our right foot onto the yoga block, and we're going to take the ball again between the inner thighs. And we're going to go into our little series of our hip pendulum. So you're going to glue your eyes ahead of you. Already it should feel pretty wobbly perched up there on that yoga block. And you want to have your left knee bent in line with your standing leg. So make sure the knee is in line with its neighbor. And then we are going to swivel so that the left thigh bone comes internally. The left foot will go out. And then exhale, bring it back to parallel. So I'm going to need a little balance support this morning. I don't know about you, but feel free to find that. And we're going to use some support as needed. And we're going to swivel internally via the left thigh bone, and then swivel back to parallel. You can challenge yourself and take your hand off of your supportive structure, and just make sure you have it close by if needed. Inhaling as we go internal, exhaling as we bring it back. You'll notice that right leg and right hip is also working really hard, even though we're moving the left leg. Can you get more from your right inner thigh? A little bit more from the right inner thigh. Can you make sure your left knee is in line with your standing knee, your right knee? Hold, and with the left leg parallel, we're going to exhale, little bend, little plie through the right, and then inhale, use the right inner thigh to lengthen you up. Exhale as you lower down, just a little. Inhale as you pick it up. So we're creasing at the front side of the right hip and the right knee. Exhale down. Inhale, pick it up. One more like that. Hold with the right knee bent, right hip creased. Keep your ribs right on top of pelvis. Maybe arms come up alongside the ears for 5. Lengthening and reaching for 4. This is 3, 2, and arms come down, leg goes straight, and remove the ball. Okay, we're gonna set the yoga block to the side for just a moment, and we're gonna use this ball under our pelvis. So once you get down onto the ground, you're gonna place the little ball, it should be a 5-inch ball with some grip to it, under your pelvis, right under your sacrum. So straight away, you should feel your pelvis melting side to side and front to back. Then I'm gonna invite you to take the yoga block the narrow way like this, in between your inner thighs. So straight away, it should feel like a nice little challenge with your core holding you steady on the ball. Arms are long at your sides, strongly imprinting into the mat, keeping this pelvis neutral. Try not to change your pelvis. We're gonna pick up our heels first, so now we're on the balls of our feet. And then keeping yourself level, we're gonna exhale, pick the legs up into tabletop. Holding the legs in tabletop, we are going to melt the pelvis to the right. So in our own skin, that's gonna feel like 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, yeah? And then we're gonna shift to the other side. So we're just doing this tiny side to side shift, opening up space in the pelvis. Opening up space in the low back. Arms are strongly into the mat. It should not be a great big range of movement. It's like you're melting left to right over the ball. Just melt left to right. Lengthen the tailbone long from the crown of the head. A few more here, either side. Just really feel the thigh bones sinking into the pelvis, and remember this sensation because we're going to revisit it later on in the workout. But you see how it's not a great big range of movement. The knees are unleveling as the hips unlevel because the thigh bone is sinking deeply into the pelvis as the pelvis moves. Even yourself out, hold and breathe for 5. Think about the thigh bones absorbing deep into the pelvis for 3, for 2. On a strong inhale, a long inhale, slowly decelerate your legs back down to the mat. All right, now we are going to take that ball out and we're going to keep the yoga block. It's going to come into our hands. I always like to hold the yoga block with thumb below, pinky below, and then the 3 fingers wrapping. It gives us a nice connection here. Bring your legs all the way long, heels are touching, toes are turned out. Straight away, we're going to send the arms into a nice bend, making a nice circle with the arms, a big bend, lots of energy in on that yoga block. Should feel a lot of effort through the biceps and the shoulders. Inhale, head picks up. Exhale, shoulder blades pick all the way up. Hold and breathe. So shoulder blades are all the way off the mat. Head is stretching out behind you like it's on a hammock. My yoga block is now somewhere over my belly button, but lots of energy in. Hold that energy in. And then we're going to lift the right leg and set it back down via the inner thigh. Lift the left leg and set it back down. Lift the right leg, lengthening and reaching, set it back down. Doesn't have to be crazy high. The idea is to connect the abdominals to the inner thigh, lengthening and reaching your leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it back. Reaching and extending. If it's not feeling great on your low back today, you can always do this with a bent leg as well. So you can bend your knee a little bit, and it's going to take the pressure off of the low back and still engage the core deeply. I'm going to invite you to hold the right leg up. If it's accessible, left leg as well for 8, 7. Try to get the shoulder blades off the mat for 4. Energy in on the yoga block. 3, 2, and both legs come down. All right, we're going to rise back up and go into the ball between our inner thighs, standing on the yoga block. So again, get yourself a balance point as needed. I was needing it a few of the reps, but see if you can challenge yourself to take your hand on and off your balance point. The ball goes back between the inner thighs. And we're going to get the right knee bent and parallel. So just do a quick glance down and make sure that that is true, okay? You want to have a nice breath inside of your ankle joint, your knee joint, your hip joint, so we're not locking anywhere. And then we're going to internally rotate and come back to parallel. It will assist your balance if you lock your eyes to something ahead of you. I'm going to adjust my ball, so always feel free to adjust your prop as needed. Mine was a little too far back and I wasn't able to rotate my right thigh bone as well as I wanted to. So adjust as needed. It's an inhale as we swivel the right inner thigh internally. The foot goes outbound, but only because the thigh bone started it. So we want to make sure we're not leading with the lower leg. That is an accessory or a response to the upper portion of your right leg. 2 more like this, gang. Swivel in. Every inhale lengthens and lifts your spine. Internally rotate. Bring it back to parallel. Pause. And then we're going to go into those little plies. We're exhaling, small bend and crease on the left side. Inhale, lift, reach, lengthen. So being perched up on this yoga block really does challenge our balance because it's not a fully secure surface. My foot kind of hangs off the front and the back a little bit. So just that softness under you is going to increase that balance challenge. So take it at your own pace. You can always do this one on the ground if you don't want that balance challenge, or on the books. Here we go. We're going to hold the last one. Hold. Maybe both arms come up. Glue your eyes to something ahead of you. Try to ask for more from your left inner thigh for 4, 3, 2, and bring the arms down, remove the ball, and step off of that yoga block. All right, we're gonna go into some sideline work. I'm gonna set the ball away for a few moments, and we're gonna go into some sideline work. We're first gonna use the yoga block today under our head. What that's gonna do is keep our neck in alignment and give us a place to put our arm in front of us to assist our balance. So we're gonna lengthen the right arm down on the mat. My right side of head is on the yoga block. My hips are stacked and my shoulders are stacked. All right, we're gonna lengthen both legs all the way out. Straight away, lengthen those legs so far that they are hovered off of the mat. It's not gonna be a lot, but that's okay. We wanna lengthen and reach. Then we're gonna think about the puppet string or the hammock string stretching the inner thighs, and then the legs float up a little bit. That's an inhale. And then exhale, bring them back to start, but we're not resting on the mat in between each move. So we're lengthening and reaching and bring it back to a hover. So this right arm is assisting us with balance today. And we're gonna use it for a few more moves and then we're gonna change it up. So change is a coming. Lengthen and reach. I'm in a closed parallel position with my legs, like there's strong magnets on the outside of the legs, lengthening and reaching, keeping lots of length on the waistline. Notice that as my legs reach, my bottom ribs don't drop. That's really important to stay core connected. 2 more, gang, lengthening and reaching. For this last one, we're gonna return to start, pause. Keep your right arm strongly imprinted in the ground in front of you. And then we're gonna exhale, drag both legs in a closed parallel to a 45-degree angle. And then inhale, bring it up. So it's like a little knee pull, but we're just on our side. So like when we're on a reformer and we're dragging the carriage in, now we've taken away so much of that support. We've got no spring, and we don't even have our knees on the carriage, right? So we're using a major balance challenge the way that we do for knee pulls or knee drags. Exhaling as we draw them forward, magnetizing the outer thighs, keeping the knees and the hips off the ground, keeping the feet off the ground. 1 more like this. Exhale, bend the knees forward. Your heels and hips are in alignment for 3. Keep the knees up for 2, and bring the knees down. Stay here, quick change. We're gonna take the yoga block between your heels. Notice that my feet are out. So my feet are not in contact with the yoga block. And now I've put my right arm under my ear. We're gonna go into some clamming with the yoga block. It is awful. And I know it is, but we're gonna get through it together. So we're gonna keep both feet off the ground. Exhale, knees come towards one another. Inhale, they open. I've got a lot of energy holding that yoga block in place. So my heels are super active, but my arches or the sides of my feet are not holding that yoga block. That's why it's wobbling so much. Yours should be too. Inhale as you open the inner thigh into that clam. Bottom leg is imprinting strongly into the mat. Both legs are working really hard. The inner thighs are lit up because we are holding that yoga block in place. For extra challenge, you can bring your feet up a little bit higher and you'll really feel that bottom leg jump into the party the same way that the top leg is working so hard. Find that strong energy closing your heels onto the yoga block. It should be rocking in between your heels. Lots of inner thigh, lots of deep abdominal, all the way through the waistline on the back side of your hips. Beautiful job, guys. So we do this on the WundaFormer as well. We do this with one loop on our foot. So it's a really similar experience, but without a little bit more distraction. It's really focused. We're holding and breathing, and we're gonna swivel the upper inner thigh open, swivel it open. So we started internally today. We're now going externally, but the same idea. This thigh bone is turning in the hip socket. Thigh bone is turning in the hip socket. We've got 3 more, stay with it. Here we go for 2. And this is gonna be the last one, and bring it all the way down. All right, let's go ahead and set the yoga block away for a moment, and we're gonna go into some imaginary jump board. So if you are used to working on a jump board on a reformer, this will feel familiar to you. I'm actually gonna grab a WundaCore because I have one close by. If you do, you can use it. Otherwise, just use your hands under the base of your skull, and we're gonna place it here. So your hands can be at the base of your skull, not on your neck, or the WundaCore. From here, keeping a neutral pelvis, we're gonna exhale, bring the right leg up into tabletop position. And then inhale, find that neutral pelvis again. Exhale, bring your left leg up into tabletop. Notice my head is up and off the mat. This is gonna give support to your low back and also help keep you organized for your jumps with core connection. All right, so here we go. We're gonna flex both feet first. Flex both feet a lot, creasing deeply at the front side of your ankles. There's space between my knees and feet. There's 4 inches there, so see if you can find that. And then what we're gonna do is a single leg jump. So that means we're gonna extend the right leg out. The front side of the ankle opens, and it's like we've just left a jump board. And then we're gonna exhale and land. We're gonna flex the feet to do that. So when we land on a jump board, we flex our feet a lot. Exhale as we land. And inhale, just the right leg is doing the jumping. We're holding the left leg in tabletop. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, send it out. We're gonna go for 2 more like that. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, send it out. This is gonna be the last one. That left leg is working hard, even though it's holding steady. Inhale, bring it out. And exhale, land, pause. I'm now gonna invite a double leg jump. We're only doing 4. Inhale, both legs lengthen, reach, open both ankles. Exhale, land, crease at the ankles. If you do jump board work outside of this workout, this move is also gonna help you find better landings, better core connection, because we've taken away some of the distraction of the movement on a machine, and we're focusing on the ankle flexion to give us a better landing. Last one, inhale out, exhale, back to your tabletop position. Right leg is gonna stay where it is. Reset in that shallow rib lift or abdominal curl. Inhale, leaving that imaginary jump board with your left leg. Exhale as we land. Inhale, lengthen, reach, extend. Exhale as we land through that single leg jump. Inhale, lengthen, reach, open, keeping your pelvis neutral, keeping the intention from the hip, opening the leg. Sometimes in class, in the studio, I'll see people kind of kicking their lower leg, kicking from the knee, rather than opening from the hip. You're gonna get so much more core connection and support for your low back if you can keep it from the hip. Here we go for 2. We're gonna flip over into a 4-point kneel next. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, bring it back. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bring it back. and bring both feet down onto the mat. All right, we're gonna rise up and we're gonna use both the yoga block and the ball. This is gonna focus back to when we started class and I talked about our pelvis unleveling when we were rocking it side to side on the ball. We're gonna do it now on a 4-point kneel. Need to make sure I have enough space. So I'm gonna put my right knee onto the yoga block and then bring my hands down. So right knee comes onto the yoga block, hands come down, and the ball is gonna be between the inner thighs again. So now what is happening is my pelvis is level, my left knee and my right knee are level, but my left knee is floating out off of the yoga block. So find that best organization as you can. It's a little trick to just find it to start with, adjust as needed. We're looking straight down at the mat. And now we're gonna let the right half of your pelvis melt over your thigh bone. That means your left knee will melt down. That's an exhale. Inhale, bring it back up to level. Exhale, allow the right side of your pelvis to roll over your right thigh bone. And that in turn will have your left hip and left thigh bone, your femur, melt down towards the ground. Exhale down, inhale, bring it up. Just a few more here, unleveling. I had my class do this yesterday on a WundaChair. If you're familiar with that, it was something we were doing while doing an upstretch. So we're delivering the fundamentals here in this workout that you would get if you were on a WundaChair or a Pilates machine in a studio. So this helps me to increase my functionality and the way that I'm operating when I move onto a machine or teach there too. Come back into a level position. You can glance down, knees are level, hips are level. 5, hold and breathe. 4, 3, 2, and go ahead and bring your feet down and remove the ball. We're gonna go into a plank here, no props, just a nice clean plank. I'm gonna ask you to come onto your forearms, and we're still gonna keep working through those shoulders. Today, let's take our forearms wide, and we're gonna lengthen both legs all the way back, closed parallel. We're gonna hold and breathe together. Collarbones are wide, lengthen tailbone from crown of head, and let's go into a tiny hip pike. So we're going to exhale, tiny lift up and back. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, up and back. Inhale, back to plank. Thinking about a diagonal line, not a straight up to the sky. Reaching up and back. When we take away the wheels of the reformer, we're just left with ourselves, the mat, and I like to say baby Jesus helps us too. Lifting up and back for 3. Back to your plank, here we go for 2. Head is in line with spine, looking straight down to the mat, in between your arms, and bring both knees down. Let's take that unleveling on the other side. So I'm going to show it from a slightly different angle. I'll keep it this direction, but it's going to be looking at it from the yoga block side rather than the floating leg side, okay? So we're going to have the left knee on the yoga block. The ball goes between the inner thighs, hands on the ground, and you are going to have your left half of your pelvis roll over your thigh bone. All right, here we go again. Get yourself situated. Legs are parallel, hips are level, arms are long, and then we're going to melt over the top of the left thigh bone and bring it back up. Notice that the intention is not from the right knee. So a lot of times we get excited about how it looks from the outside. I do not care how far the right knee melts down. I do care that the left half of your pelvis is rolling over the top of your thigh bone. The right knee will take care of itself. Keep working. I'm going to give a slightly different angle. I'm going to try to do it straight from the front so you can really see what is happening. So keep going. Left side of the pelvis swivels over the thigh bone, so the knee lowers, and then bring it back up. Your torso isn't really changing. Your low back is going to rock a little bit, but the upper back, the shoulders, that's all staying the same. And for the last few, send more intention to your left inner thigh stabilizing you so that we don't kick out into the left hip towards the side. Here we go for one, last one. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, bring it up. And bring both feet down. Fabulous. All right, we are going to come onto our hands and knees again. I know that's a lot right in a row, but we can do it. We're going to keep the ball or your toilet paper, and this is going to go in between our inner thighs, and we're going to come into a 4-point kneel, flipping our toes under to pick us up off the mat. So hands are wide on the mat. Knees and toes are 4 inches apart, parallel. Get your hands like starfish straight away. And then we are going to exhale as we pick up your knees off the mat. They're just about the level of your ankles. And then we're going to do a shoulder and hip hinge at the same time. On the inhale, shoulders glide forward, hips open, just a little. And then on the exhale, send your hips and shoulders back. And then inhale, passing through 4-point kneel, hinging forward. Exhale as we drag it back. We also did this on our Wunda chair for an upstretch hold this week. So again, gang, I'm always looking for ways to translate what we're doing on the machine onto the floor. Taking the bells and whistles out of the equation really drives the focus to our form and to our core connection. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen and reach, looking straight down at the mat, nice long neck. Lifting heart between shoulder blades, moving from hips and shoulder blades. Bring it back to your 4-point kneel and set the knees down. All right, let's take that side lying work on the other side. Set your ball away, and we're going to take the yoga block underneath our head, laying on your left side. So lay all the way down onto the mat. Left arm is going to go in front of you, and your head, side of your head, is on the yoga block. We're straight away going to lengthen both legs out. I like my hand on hip, keeps me organized. And this is also giving us the same training that we get when we're doing side lying work on a reformer or on a Wunda chair. So lengthen the legs up and out. Nothing too fancy to start with. Inhale, lengthen, and lower. So it is a really sincere balance challenge. I find it more of a challenge on this side of my body to stay upright with hips and shoulders stacked than on the other. That's okay. We're just finding what we need to work on, finding what is a beautiful challenge to us. Inhale, lift, lengthen, reach. Making sure the bottom ribs are not sinking down into the mat as we lift. So maybe you back off your range of movement, really focusing on the length and the reach out, as if you had a foot in strap. So oftentimes we'll do this with a top foot in strap. So see if you can reach your bottom leg longer than the one that might have strap feedback on it. Lengthening and reaching. Here we go for 2. We're going to go into that double knee pull, coming up. Lengthen, last one, reaching up, bring it back so that we're hovering off the mat, but our legs are super long. Left arm is super active in the mat, in the ground. Exhale, draw the knees forward to about a 45-degree angle. Inhale, lengthen back out. Exhale, keeping your pelvis quiet. That's part of the challenge. Inhale, lengthen the legs back out. Just a few more here. I'm going to bring my right hand forward rather than on my hip. So if you need additional balance support, go ahead and do that. I do on this side this morning. Just honor what's going on in your skin today. Exhale, drag forward and set the knees and feet down. Quick change. Yoga block comes out from under your head. Left arm goes under your ear. And then remember, we've got heels holding the yoga block, just our heels. It's so tempting to ask the inner foot, like the arches and the toes, to help us hold it, but that's the challenge, is to hold it without much support. So it's an exhale down and an inhale to open into clamming. Exhale as we draw the inner thighs towards one another. They're not going to touch because we have that yoga block with our heels. And inhale, really swivel the inner thighs for more challenge. Left foot can raise up, and that will in turn bring the yoga block and both feet up. But that's how we're going to get a lot of work through both legs. Sometimes the bottom leg wants to kind of check out a little bit. So imprint the left thigh deep into the mat. Lots of magnetic energy through the heels. Inhaling to open, swivel that right inner thigh bone into an external rotation, opposite of how we started class. And bring it back in. You might notice a little more range of movement in that internal rotation because we opened things up together earlier. Here we go for 2. We're gonna hold it open. My left foot is wanting to kind of melt down as it gets fatigued. Hold the legs open into that little froggy position. Hold and breathe. Lots of energy spiraling that right inner thigh back for 3. Here we go for 2. And bring it all the way down. All right, we're going to take that yoga block into our hands and we are going to do a lunge with the ball below your heel. So the first thing we're going to do is get to the top of our mat and we're going to take the ball below your right heel. Again, you might want a balance support close by, or if you want balance challenge, we're going to use the yoga block in our hands. So I'm going to hold it the way we did earlier, where I've got 3 fingers forward, thumb and pinky, top and bottom. And then take just a little step back with your left foot. Lock your eyes ahead. Your right knee is bent, right heel is lifted on the ball, but not smashing it. And we're just going to do 1 lunge here. Hold and breathe. So both knees are bent a lot. Eyes are locked forward. Elbows are bent. It's like we're making a circle with our arms. And send lots of energy in through the thumb, the pinky, and the fingers, kind of trying to indent into that yoga block. So it's going to be an isometric hold here, everything connected. Can you find the energy circling around your body? Right hand through the yoga block, through the left hand, through the left arm, around your back, through the right arm. Keep going with that energy. Here we go for 5 more seconds. Can you get a little bit lower? This is 3. This is 2. And with intention, inhale, pick it up and come onto both feet. Set the yoga block down for a moment. We're going to go into our dynamic jumps through plies. So we're going to exhale as we lower down, going into a plie, arms come up. And then inhale to raise. Exhale as we lower down. So I like to think of these as standing jumps. And what we're going to do is do a little weight shift as well. So now as I come up, I'm coming onto the right toe. Right leg is long. And then both feet are flat down through the middle, and then I'm coming up onto the left toe. And then bring it down. So if that's a good challenge for you, stay here. And just keep your feet connected at all times, lengthening and lifting. If you're looking for more, you can actually leave the ground with your right foot and bring it back down. Leave the ground with your left foot and bring it back down. So do this at your own pace, but the idea is to increase through a lot of cardio challenge, a little bit of choreography, keeping knees aligned, big toe, second toe. Inhale, lengthen, exhale down. We can add the arms. Arms bend as the knees bend. Inhale up, exhale down. Keep working and think about the leg reaching through the mat as it lifts rather than it kicking off to the side. So it's not about height, it's about length. Reaching and extending, back down, reaching and extending, back down. We do these when we do our standing work at the ballet bar because it's a really beautiful way to connect the arms and legs extending to your core. Inhale up, exhale down. Just a few more here. Moving from hips and shoulders rather than hands and toes. Last one to the left. Last one to the right. Bring it all the way down. Hold. Arms come out to the sides. We're going to do small circles with our arms. Lengthening and reaching. Maybe you pick both heels up, maybe not. Lengthening and reaching. Can you get a little lower into your plie for 4? Here we go for 3. This is 2. Stay here. Heels go down if they were up. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, arms come down. Inhale, arms float up. Shoulder blades melt. Exhale, arms go down. A little bit lower. Inhale and exhale. Last 2. Last 1. Bring the arms all the way down and rise up. Let's take that isometric lunge on the other side. So we are going to stand on the ball with our heel, left heel. Once that's true, we are going to take the right foot in a small step back. Use balance support near you as needed. Lock your eyes ahead of you. I'm going to get myself organized with a little balance support, so use it if you need it. Find your best lunge. We're going to hold and breathe. Let's take the arms long on this side, but still lots of energy in. And find that energy in the other direction. Left palm going through the yoga block, right palm, right arm, wrapping around your back all the way through the left arm again. Keep that energy flowing in that circular intention. Here we go for 3. Energy in on the yoga block for 2. And with intention, arms come down and bring the legs all the way up. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and set those props away. You can use the yoga block if you need a lift off the ground. We're going to finish in a little working stretch sequence. So we're going to set ourselves into a 90-90-ish bend with our legs. So it's kind of like a Z sit or a mermaid sit, but it's a little more open through the knees, okay? Left hand comes down, I have my left leg forward. Left hand comes to one side, right hand comes to the other. So my arms are nice and strong and wide, and I'm going to pick up my left hip by sending energy down into the lower leg of both legs. So I'm going to pick up and lift. The arms are working a lot, but think about the left hip stretching down and back, even though it's hovered. Lots of length through the waistline, lots of space through the upper back, and set it back down. Go ahead and go into that again. On the inhale, pick it up. Absorb the left thigh bone deep into the hip. You should feel a big stretch across the back side of your hip. Thinking about imprinting the lower legs down into the mat and set it down. We're going to do that one more time. Lifting up, lengthening and holding for 2. And bring it all the way down. Let's take the other side. So we're just going to unfold and bring the left leg back and the right leg forward, a little bit wider than we would do for a normal mermaid sit, giving our knees a little more space. Right hand is down, left hand comes down. Keep length in your spine, really important. Then we are going to inhale and lift and send energy down, even though we're hovered up off of the ground. Keep working. Right hip is levitated up off the ground, head is in line with spine. And go ahead and set it down. Doesn't have to be a great big lift. But do you see how we're getting so much more stretch through that hip by keeping this active rather than just kind of sinking down passively holding a pigeon stretch or something like that? You're going to get a lot more benefit by making it an active hold rather than just chilling. All right, here we go. Last one. Lift it up. Lengthen and reach. And just feel the backside of that hip really stretching. And bring it all the way down. We're going to go into a nice little child's pose, stretching side to side, opening through the side body. So we're going to bring our toes together, knees wide. We're going to take the arms long in front of us. Take the arms long in front of you. I'm going to show from a profile. Keep working. Once you're down into that child's pose, you can kind of imagine you're dragging a carriage towards you. So arms are heavy, but they're not pulling. That's an exhale. Inhale, lengthen the arms back out, gliding across your mat. And I'm going into a little extension here. So my eyes are up, and I'm lengthening and reaching my head and gaze is up. So that's opening my upper back. Then I'm going to turn my gaze down. Exhale, round, curl, lift. Inhale, lengthen and reach. Opening through the upper back. Sinking deeply into the hips. Exhale around. Inhale, lengthen, hold. Walk both hands to the left side of the mat, opening through the right side body, opening through the low back, opening through the left hip, and inner thigh. And then walk both hands to the right side of the mat, switching sides, opening left waistline, right hip, right inner thigh. And then bring your hands back to center. One beautiful deep breath here. Inhaling gratitude for our movement together. And come up, exhaling, shaking anything out that is not serving you today. Another fabulous workout together. Can't wait to see you next time on the mat. Have a gorgeous day.